Allegiance by Councilor O'Quinn. If everyone could stand, please.
Let me first say good morning, Happy New Year, happy decade to the council. I'll be very brief, but let me say this before I get started. I, along with the rest of my preacher brethren, count it a privilege for you to ask us from week to week to pray for the council. And with all this going on in the world right now, we want to be definitely intense and intentional. You should have before you a prayer that I'd often pray. I know many of you are constant prayer warriors yourselves, and these are the prayers that I pray for Birmingham. So for 40 years I've been serving Birmingham greater community. This is the first time I've not just kind of winged it, but I wrote the prayers down that I pray, and for a reason. Peter says God gives us great and precious promises, that through these promises it helps us to escape the corruption. So I'm going to pray this, if you will, if you'll get an agreement with us. I know we may not do this often, it may be out of the box, but from the lessons of Dr. King and Dr. Shuttlesworth and all the bishops there, whenever we would have meetings, they would kind of join hands. Is it possible for us to kind of touch and agree? Can we just join hands together and just touch as a sign of agreement for what God's about to do? All in the audience, that Scripture says if any of us would agree as touching anything, showing that we are together. So let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, as we embark upon not only a new year, but the next 10 years, you've always been our help. Guide us, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. We are weak, but thou art mighty. Hold us with your powerful hand. And I pray, dear God, the prayers, and we all agree, just as these prayers affected Jerusalem as a mighty city, let these things happen for Birmingham. Number one, we pray that you would be the chief architect of our city, even as Abraham went looking for a city that had foundation, whose builder and whose architect was God. Be the architect. Draw the plans for Birmingham. Number two, we pray, dear God, for the protection of Birmingham. Just as you called Jerusalem Beulah land and Hephzibah, meaning the Lord is married, he has a covenant with you, and that he protects you. We call Birmingham Beulah. Protect us. Protect our mayor, Randall Woodfin, dear God, and Father, all the city council that we could call by name, but time would not permit. Protect, dear God, all of our constituency and the flocks of Birmingham, dear God, that we may lead a peaceable life unto all godliness. Number three, we pray that we will not be forsaken, Isaiah 62, that you would never forsake this city. Number four, dear God, we pray, dear God, that you, like Jerusalem, promised that you would make Birmingham a praise. We will not be a mockery to the nation, dear God, but we will be a praise in the earth. We pray, dear God, number five, dear God, that we would be sought out after, that national artists and events and would come to Birmingham, businesses will relocate, that they would seek us out. We pray, dear God, that you would also, God, make us a place of peace, dear God, that you said that you know the thoughts that you have for us, that they were to give us thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give us an expected end. We pray, number seven, God, that we would be significant among all these continental cities in the United States, to God, that Birmingham, like Paul said, that we are no insignificant city, but we are a very distinguished city, a city that's set on a hill that cannot be hid. And last but not least, God, we pray that you would make us, as in the book of Revelations, a new city, just as John saw in Jerusalem, a city coming down from heaven to God. And you say in that city that you would tabernacle with us and you would be with us, and that you would wipe away all our tears and you would break the spirit of death. We pray for the wisdom to do so, and we ask it humbly and respectfully in the mighty, matchless, magnanimous name of the Lord Jesus. And we all touched and agree by saying amen, 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 and God bless you.
Good morning, Mr. Clerk. How you doing? Good morning. We can do roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Council Member Alexander. Council President Pro Tem Alexander. Council Member Hilliard.
Present.
Council Member Hoyt.
Present, sir.
Council Member O'Quinn.
Go Tigers.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Williams. Good morning. Councilmember Woods.
Present.
Councilmember Abbott. President Parker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Minutes for January 23rd, 30th, August 6th, and 13th. I need a motion for approval.
Move the minutes.
So we had, was that Councilmember O'Quinn?
Yeah, because Dr. Quinn and Councilor Smitherman.
Okay. All right, voting should be open for the minutes right about now. Councilmember Hilliard. Minutes, how would you like to vote? Thank you. That vote should be up.
Okay, that item passes. Minutes not ready August 20th through January 2nd, 2020. Morning, Mr. Mayor.
Morning, Mr. President.
How you doing, sir?
Good. Good morning to the council, and good morning to the public. Mr. President and council, I have some brief notes this morning, so I'll jump right in. I want to start with Homewood Fire Chief John Bresnan. Our hearts and our prayers go out to his family, his friends, and his co-workers. The fire chief of Homewood, he passed January 10th while in office. The funeral service will be tomorrow at 1 p.m. at Homewood Church of Christ with burial at Jefferson Memorial Gardens on Gaston Highway. Rideouts Valley Chapel in Homewood is directing the services. Mr. President and Council, several events are scheduled this month and for next week. Next Monday, in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. To see what's planned, especially on MLK Day, I want to encourage everyone to visit birminghamal.gov to get more detail on the events planned. And speaking of next Monday, the city of Birmingham, except for police, fire, 911, will be closed in observation and commemoration of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is Monday, January 20th. I also want to remind everyone that the first town hall meeting of 2020 will be held in District 4 next Tuesday, January 21st, at the Shields Conference Center with Council President William Parker. Community partners will be available to meet residents at 5:30, and we'll start at 6. Just a couple more notes. On Friday, January 24th is the deadline to complete the Community Development's Community Needs Survey. This survey is used to collect important information on the status of fair housing issues in our city. To take the survey, please visit birminghamal.gov/community-development. Again, that's birminghamal.gov/community-development. I now want to invite the president of the BABJ, Black Association of Black Journalism, President Steve Crocker, to the front. He's here to talk to us, and other members of the Birmingham Association of Black Journalists are here to talk about their upcoming event that will honor Emory L. Jackson, who's the editor of the Birmingham World.
Good morning, Council. Good morning. Please forgive me for my voice. I think I've got a little too much post-nasal drip, so I'll be brief and head to the doctor after this. Want to first thank the Council and the Mayor's Office for your support of BABJ's efforts to help bring the 2023 National Association of Black Journalists Convention to Birmingham. I think I saw many of you at our reception on Friday night. We appreciate your support. Also want to shout out our partners at the Greater Birmingham Convention Visitors Bureau who did a phenomenal job. So thank you for that. On Sunday at 3 p.m., Kimberly Mangum, a communications professor at the University of Utah, will be here for an event that the Birmingham Public Library has asked us to partner with them to do. She has written a book called Editor Emory L. Jackson, The Birmingham World and the Fight for Civil Rights in Alabama, 1940 to 1975. It's a history of this journalistic giant, a Morehouse man, military veteran, founder of the Alabama NAACP, a mentor and a teacher to so many in this community. And I guess it's appropriate that we're having this program during an election year because he was an unabashed advocate for voting rights, always trying to get people out to vote. Our program will take place 3 p.m. Friday at the library. Cheryl Stewart will be the moderator. We want to invite everyone to come on out and join us to learn more about and lift up the name of this literary giant, this journalistic giant, Emory O. Jackson. Thank you.
One last note, Mr. President and Council. I now want to bring up Bishop Calvin Woods, who was here today to let us know more about the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, and what they'll be doing next Monday and next Tuesday in observation of Martin Luther King.
Giving obedience to the presence of the Spirit of God, to our most honorable mayor, honorable council, honorable brothers and sisters who are laboring hard to keep the light shining bright in this city, and certainly to all of the citizens who themselves are stars in this great magic city of Birmingham, and to a few members of our executive board of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. We're certainly delighted to be here. God is smiling on you if in your heart your intention is to work within His will for the advancement of those people who He made, and those all of us individually. You are workers together with each other, but that's not enough. You're workers together with God, and that's very basic. Mr. Mayor, let me say this. I've been coming up here over 60 years. When Bull Connor was in here, we didn't want us to come. And I'm so proud, I guess I'm one of the most proudest persons in Birmingham, because I can see what God has done through trials and through tribulation. Please don't get angry with me. But it was SCLC that led the campaign to get the first black council person here. We got a petition and went around, and many people signed it, asked the white council. We had just gotten a white council. All of them are white, no black. Mr. Cochran, I believe, died. And we asked them would they consider putting a black to that position. And they did. Attorney Arthur Scholes was the first one who's up there. And we've been able to see how God has moved and has done the things He want to do. Let me go on, Mr. Mayor, and do what you asked me to come. I thank God for every last one of you all. As you're striving to work for God, the mountains get high, roads get rough and rocky sometimes. But you're called to bear the cross. The cross represents that you got duties, obligations, and responsibilities. Not always going to be light, but you've got to go through to get to what God would have you. On Saturday, the 18th, that's this Saturday, from 8 to 11 o'clock, SCLC will be holding its annual gun buyback at the St. Joseph Baptist Church, 500 9th Avenue North. With the help of some of their friends who are supporting us, we'll be able to pay up to $50 for guns. Now, I'm not against folk having some protect their house, but there are many guns out on the street. We're trying to get them off. So use your influence to help us to get as many of these guns off the street as possible. At 11 o'clock at the same church, St. Joseph, so we won't have to be running across town like we usually do. After that, we will have the MLK Youth Explosion. And we're going to have crucial conversations with our youth, have youth engagement with certified representatives. We'll be dealing with subjects such as human trafficking by Tawanda Williams, y'all please excuse me, case manager of Well House. We'll be dealing with the effects of guns in our community by Officer Timothy Yearwood. We'll be dealing with the subject of mental health, community mental health by community health professionals. There's been an ascendancy of suicide and things of that. We're going to deal with those things on this Saturday. Lunch will be provided to all who attend. We have music from local schools, Winona, Center Point High, talent from local schools, Brown and Washington Elementary, Lawson State, ensemble, live demonstrations, questions and answers, and thanks God for those who supported us, door prizes. Kids are our future, not guns. So we've got to do all we can. Now Sunday, that's the next day, after Saturday, January the 19th, the CLC will be having a musical at the Hopewell Baptist Church. The movement is a movement that would sing. If you want to be blessed by the Holy Spirit with good hand clapping and feet stomping and letting the Holy Spirit have his way, we're asking you to come out at 4 o'clock Sunday at the Hopewell Baptist Church, 2315 26th Avenue North, pastored by my son, Reverend Timothy Woods. The LaShawn Walker Ensemble will be the ones in concert along with others. Of course, Monday morning, you know the annual MLK Unity Breakfast with its partners, with five groups make that up with the support of the entities. It's headed up by Aaron Carton. Contact him for ticket information. That will be at 7:30. The doors will open at 7 a.m. On Monday morning. At 11 o'clock, we're asking everybody who will to line up right here at the City Hall for our annual Martin Luther King Jr. March. And we say line up at 11 o'clock because we want to be ready to move off at 11:30. Bands lined up and everybody lined up. So we want to move off, and we're asking everybody to please come and participate. Dr. King participated, and Dr. Shaw, all of us. We had to march when we didn't feel like it. March didn't just do it. Let folks see what side you on. The old lady said if I couldn't say a word, I'd wave my hand. Sometimes just folks looking at your face, having you there, can sometimes make all the difference in the world. So we need you to join in with us and march down to 16th Street Baptist Church, where we have the MLK Civil Rights Rally. That was one of the main meeting places, not the only one, but one of the main meeting places of the movement during 63, 1536 Avenue North. Our special keynote speaker will be none other than the Reverend Michael Wesley, pastor of Greater Shiloh Baptist Church. We also will be blessed with greetings coming from many of you, our leaders. We got to hear you. God put you up, place to lead. We want to hear you. We want to see what God put on your heart. Bring us a remark. Do us something. Yeah, it take all of us. This is a God thing. And you working for him, looking for him. All right. Move on at 2 o'clock Monday, the same day. We'll move up to the Boutwell Auditorium upstairs, where we'll be feeding the homeless and senior citizens. I know one year we served over 700 folk. Of course, last year we didn't serve quite that many. It'd be in the hundreds. We don't turn anybody away, so it takes some doing to get those things done. So we're specializing on senior citizens and the homeless, but it's a love feast. We don't turn nobody away. God wants us to love and fellowship and get together and just glorify him and lift him up. So may God bless you and may he keep you. Please support this work. Dr. Woods Jr., I don't know if that's your name, but I want to say this to everybody. I do not know. I've been coming around a long time. How long could it be? Or what the future holds for me. But this, I know. If Jesus lead me, I'm going to get home someday. Up there where I'm going to meet Dr. Shuttlesworth, Dr. King, and let me say this, Mr. Mayor. When the portals of glory opens wide, all of those who stood up and labored for freedom, dignity, and equality under the banner of Jesus Christ shall be inside. At the right hand of God you all shall be, because you labored, you worked, that all men might be free. God bless you, Brother Mayor. Thank y'all.
Mr. President. Oh, Mr. Mayor, you're free. Okay. Mr. Hilliard and Mr. Hoyt.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I want to say to the SLC, it is so good to see and have great African-American groups to start talking about mental illness in our community and actually sparking more conversation about it. So I'm very proud of the SLC for their stance and the things that they're doing in our community. I wanted to say to the black journalists, man, Birmingham, it's going to be exciting to have your convention come to Birmingham. I had the privilege of going to Florida several years ago when your convention was there, and it only equals, I would imagine, to the Congressional Black Caucus. I've never seen anything like it. It is phenomenal, the type of things that would happen in Birmingham. It's going to be an awesome place to have it, and I'm excited about it and look forward in whatever I can do from my office or from District 9 to help. I'm available. So thank you all for what you do, and we appreciate the things that you do. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, good morning to all of you, certainly to the mayor and to this council. Bishop Woods, I want to do something because I think it's important. I'm going to ask the council to declare the gun buyback a public event. Can we do that? I make the motion that we declare the gun buyback as a public purpose.
This will be for UC. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay. Move the item.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Very good. Bishop, I did that because I want to use my discretionary in the amount of $5,000 to help with the gun buyback. And I hope that this takes precedence because we got to get these guns off the street. And so I think that helps. And hopefully, as we do some things around here, I hope it's done expeditiously so that we can have that in place with the gun buyback. And maybe we can move that, and I ask my colleagues to really join because we're going to have to do something. And so I'm asking my colleagues to join in with me in doing that because we had a pivotal time and certainly need to do all we can and you've been doing this for a number of years, but we want to help you in that effort. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Go ahead.
Did want to say thank you to Councilor Hoyt for kind of making that move there. I think what they do with the gun buyback, many people don't know over the years, has been a tremendous really impact and really assisting in just getting guns off the streets. The more weapons we get off the streets, you know, it does bring down crime in the grand scheme of things. So we're excited about that. On behalf of District 1, we would like to participate in the amount of $1,000 towards the gun buyback, and so we want to commit that today. Thank you.
Let me ask a question before, because I see, do we, and Councilor Hoyt, if you'll give us a moment, maybe we make the cap not to 10,000, but maybe raise it a little bit. So
Okay.
if you'll give us, I'll talk to Mr. McDaniel, see if we can.
Okay.
So we might have to come back and just amend it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Be happy
All
to
right.
do so.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak? Okay, we're going to move to our suspend the rules for our presentations from city council members. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
President Pro Tem Alexander is up first, and after that, Councilor Hilliard.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the council and those in attendance, I would like to ask Mr. Herman Manning III to come up. He's the founder of the Leftover Energy LLC, and Mr. Manning is presenting to us as part of the MLK Day activities, the third annual MLK Day 5K Drum Run. It's a community-based celebration for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and it'll be on Saturday, January 18th at 8 a.m. And Mr. Manning, I'll give you an opportunity to discuss the event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Council. Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, City Council, administrators. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year and Happy New Decade. My name is Herman Manning III. I am the race director of the MLK Day 5K Drum Run. And just to give a small correction, it's actually the fourth year. Yeah, the fourth year. So the MLK Day 5K Drum Run is a celebration of the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. here in Birmingham, Alabama. Race participants from diverse backgrounds, races, colors, creeds, ages, they pretty much gather in Birmingham to run the route, the walk, run, and trot the route. What makes this race so special is that the race features drum lines from the Birmingham metro area schools and organizations that will line up around the race course to keep the beat as the walkers and runners go through. So you just imagine like a reverse parade. The drum run is scheduled for January 18th, 2020, 8 a.m. is the 5K start time. Registration starts at 7, and we'll start and finish at 1700 4th Avenue North, Birmingham, Alabama. It's in the heart of the Civil Rights District and the 4th Avenue Business District this year. And this race is timed as well, as in previous years. Who does the race benefit? The race benefits the participating drum lines, the approved teams and beneficiaries who register for the race. When each nonprofit community organization registers for the race, we return back $5 for every registered team member on that team. So if you have a nonprofit community organization and have a team set up, and you have 100 members set up on that team, you will receive a check from the race for $500 to help in your community efforts. To register, please go to our website, which is www.mlkday5kbham.com. The online registration is open until this Wednesday, October the 15th, 2020 to 11:59 p.m. After that, you can register in person at the packet pickup, which is at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute on Friday, January the 17th, 2020 from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And your last opportunity to register will be on race day, which is Saturday, January 18th, 2020, beginning at 7 a.m. to 45 a.m. because the race starts at 8 a.m. Some of our partners and sponsors, we couldn't do this without partnerships and sponsors. Some of our partners include the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, Urban Impact, I Am BHAM, 98.7 Today's Kiss FM, of course, the City of Birmingham. I'd like to also say thank you to Councilor Alexander for your assistance to put together health initiatives and educations for the city, and we're looking forward to working with you here on out with that. Some of our sponsors include AARP, World Watch Plus, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama, ARC Realty, Mibella Wellness Center, Renaissance Bank, Banks Finley White and Company, Etheridge Brothers Barbershop, and Nothing But Cakes. A complete list of our wonderful, supportive, and social responsible sponsors can be found on our website, which is MLK Day, 5kbham.com. Did everyone receive a copy of the electronic flyer? Great. We would love for you all to come out. Like I said, it's year number 4. We have affirmed great weather this year. I know the first year it was magnificent. Second year, I think it was the coldest day in the world in Birmingham. Last year it rained, but it was okay. So I was at Channel 6 this morning talking with the weather guy, asking him to say, hey, fix this. Predict it right. So we're looking forward as we move closer and closer back into the city. I'm excited because the freeway will be complete real soon, so we can actually carry the race back to where we originally started for the first 2 years at Hill Ingram Park. Are there any questions?
We do want to thank you for bringing this to our city, and I believe, Mr. President, there's some smart people.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
And also, a point of personal privilege, please. Thank you again, Bishop Woods. I really appreciate you. You've seen me grow from there to there, and I'm just doing what you taught me to do. So thank you so much. Thank you,
man. Thank you. Thank you. Councilor Hilliard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, we are hosting another school in District 9 on our Super Student Day. We had the privilege of going to Wilkerson Middle School and interviewing some very top students. And at this time, I'm going to ask our team to cue that video so we can see that presentation.
Last week, Councilor John Hilliard got to spend time with the recipients of this month's District 9 Super Student Awards. Each student was presented with a certificate recognizing her accomplishments and got to hear some words of encouragement from Councilor Hilliard.
We believe in our students, and I'm just so happy that she's shown us that she is going to soar like an eagle above the clouds. She's not going to let anything get in her way and continue to go to the top. We're excited and happy for you, and you have really been doing well in school. We wanted to come out and honor you being a super student. This award shows that you're smart, you're brilliant, and you've been excellent for our district. So we want to congratulate you on that.
Now let's meet these super students.
I'm in 7th grade at Wilkerson Middle School. I admire my teacher, Miss Atkins. One of the things I like about my favorite teacher is that she stays real with you and she tells you when you're doing something wrong so you can know how to improve later on. I believe that this school is really a wonderful place to be at for education because they have a whole lot of activities to help you support you later in life. And the faculty, they're very nice, they're welcoming, and you can end up you can just communicate and relate with them. I feel like something that made me a super student is from all the support my teachers have been giving me and the support from my friends that also encouraged me to continue doing what I'm doing today.
What's your favorite subject?
Writing.
Who's your favorite teacher?
Miss Swankin. I think I like to learn about my writing prompt.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A doctor. Because I want to help patients.
I like to play basketball. I like to do math.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A teacher. To teach kids how to do math, and because math, you need it in the future. Math is important.
For more videos highlighting the best in our communities, follow the Birmingham City Council on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Wow, let's give them a round of applause. That's what it's all about, to my colleagues, to honor our children and to see them go places and to feel them and to talk to them. And they were read well. Those kids were very smart, and they read a lot, and I'm very proud of them. So we're going to continue to motivate them. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Hilliard. Any other questions for the mayor? If not, we're going to move forward with the consent agenda. So.
Our consent agenda starts on page 2 with items 1, 2, 3, and 4. Skip over to page 7, and we have item number 5 on consent. Page 14, pick back up with the consent agenda with items 7, 8, and 9. Please note that item number 7 was presented and recommended by Budget and Finance. Page 15, we have items 10, 11, and 12 on consent. Item 12 was also recommended by Budget and Finance. Page 16, we have items 13 and 14 on consent. A couple of changes to item number 13. The amount should be $20,000, and I guess the extra 10 will go to Hemp Hill School. That's correct, right? Okay. And both items 13 and 14 were also recommended by Budget and Finance. Page 17, we have items 15, 16, and 17 on consent. They were all recommended by Budget and Finance as well. Page 18, we have items 18, 19, 20, and 21 on consent. Page 19, we have items 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 on consent. Page 20, we have items 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33 on consent. Page 21, I'm sorry, on the same page, item number 20. On page 20, I'm sorry, item number 28 should be withdrawn from the agenda. That's item number 28. That's the recommendation of PEP. Page 21, we have items 34, 35, 36, and 37 on consent. I had to change, that's item 36, okay. On item 36, we have a wording change for item 36. Should be on your screen as well. I think I typed it. Should be a resolution approving payments to Motorola Solutions Incorporated, Schaumburg, Illinois, for purchase of 2 radio equipment parts, accessories in the amount of $83,567.20 as needed at unit prices on file in the Office of the Purchasing Agent for the Equipment Management Department based on the bid award contract by the State of Alabama, T number 2T300 Master Agreement MA 999 T300 40 2001. So that's the change for that particular item, and I should also have it on your screen. So that's item number 36. Pick back up with the consent agenda on page 22 with items 38, 39, 40, and 41. Page 23, we have items 42, 43, 44, 45, and 46 on consent. And page 24, item number 47 is on consent. And I think we have one addendum item, and it is permanent operation, so we'll need to do a UC, so we can't add it to the consent agenda.
Okay. Anyone want to add or take off items? Councilor Hoyt. Well, Ms. Abbott, actually, Councilor Hoyt, her name came first, so sorry.
I simply wanted to ask that we remove item 35 from the consent agenda. It's on page 21. Just an explanation. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Councilor Hoyt, I'm sorry.
Yes, good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
If we could remove item 8, item 9, item 10, 11, that's all I have.
So that's, one more time, so you want the items 8 through 11 off?
Yes, that would be correct.
8, 9, 10, and 11, okay. All right. Council Williams?
Thank you, Mr. President. If we could remove item number 7, please.
Okay. All right. Council Hilliard, Council Woods, y'all good down there? Everybody else good? Okay. All right. Let me read my little tagline. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member, the mayor, or citizen interested in a public hearing so request. If so, such items will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. All matters of permanent operation will be read. All other matters will be announced by reading the item number only. All public hearings will be announced. So I think we're ready for a motion.
Second.
It was Councilor Williams and President Pro Tem Alexander.
All right, voting should be open. Feedback. That vote should be up.
Okay, all right, that item passes. First item, sir. Mr. Clerk.
Jumping to item number 6, which is on page 13. Item 6, a resolution approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a bold program agreement with 5 Points West Crossplex Business Alliance Incorporated, under which 5 Points West Crossplex Business Alliance Incorporated, as part of the city's building opportunities for lasting development program, will provide certain services, including building and organizational capacity by joining with the Main Street Alabama and other groups to create engagement and investment in the community and establish a business office for meetings and training, overseeing business design projects to include fire mural and fire facade improvements and improve small business owner signage in the commercial business district, increasing economic vitality by developing a training and resource program that supports educational needs of the business community, as well as talent and recruitment programs for new entrepreneurs and well-established businesses. And 4, collecting data regarding all businesses and commercial properties in the 5 Points West commercial corridor for a term of 1 year and for a fee in the amount of $26,500.
All right.
Motion, please.
Move the item.
Second.
It was Councilor Hoyt and Councilor Abbott. Councilor Hoyt?
Yes, Mr. President, and to the council, we did have a meeting, I think it was last Monday, with several of the stakeholders, probably in excess about 20 or more persons, and we decided collectively that we would support this grant with the understanding that we would, rather than do the murals, that we would hold off on that, and that we would come back collectively and decide what's the best way to promote the community outside of the murals. And so that was, so what I want to offer is that we accept it, but we don't do anything with the mural portion of that until we decide collectively, both the neighborhood, community, and business community on that, because not many of them were involved in the preparation of this grant and didn't know the inner workings of this grant until we brought it to their attention. And so I think they've since elected a new president, Mr. Woodson, and I'm not sure when that took place, but I do know that we did meet last Monday and they had a different president, but now they got a new president. And so I think in the spirit of cooperation and being involved, because it's the residents who support the businesses. And so there is a correlation between residents and business. and the neighborhood and community folks. So
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, Council Hort, you just basically on subsection 2 of item 6 is just strike the word or the words 5 murals?
right.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So other questions, comments? Okay. Ready for a motion?
Move the item with the.
That's already been
Okay.
moved, but if there's no objections to the change, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Okay, all right. Mr. Mayor, I didn't see my viewers as speakers up, so Mr. Mayor?
Yes, that would entirely change the entire contract, so I submit to this body, please vote it up or down.
It amends the contract with the extraction, and that's no different than any other contract we've ever done in city government. It's the council's decision. The council has to approve, and I just made a motion
Okay.
that we amended.
Okay. What we're saying, okay, to include 5 murals and 5 facade improvements and increasing. So there's still other things within the scope of work within the
Right.
project for the 26,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a small piece in terms of the entire grant. And so it was decided upon who were part of the organization and the community and others. Now, I don't want to get into any specifics if I don't have to, because I think this is a good deal. But if that's the highest vision that we have of 5 Points West, then, let it be. But it seemed to me that when you have these issues of murals, it uses in a blighted community. And so, I'm sorry, I need to speak into the thing. And so, Mr. President, we just don't want the connotation, the negative connotation that sometimes murals have in various communities. But it seemed to me that you don't have this kind of stuff in Mountain Brook. You don't have it in Homewood. And we're trying to bring 5 Points West up. And we made a collective decision to extract that from the grant until we decide on what would be the best mediums for some program that helps promote from a marketing standpoint. So I think that's, I'm there every day as the leader of that community, elected. And I work with the business folk, and this is what we came up with.
Okay. Council Woods wants to speak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Couple questions on that. One, I guess, is everything that they may be considering wanting to do, does that fall under the scope of what's in the agreement now?
Right.
Okay. What do we just change the language to, instead of striking the murals, is up to 5 murals?
The issue for us, Councilor, is that we didn't want the murals.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm saying if you put up to, you can kind of determine how many you
Well,
want.
I would rather that whatever's decided on that aspect, that it's done by the community, the neighborhood, and the business folk.
Right. I think that would accomplish that, but that's just for your
And so,
consideration.
if we say that this is, has to be agreed upon, those 3 entities that I just mentioned, then I'm fine with moving forward. But I think we have to add that language to it. And let me just say, I've been here a long time, and so have Councilor Abbott and Councilor Parker. We've amended several contracts when they come here. That's our duty. We've done that before, and this should not be treated any different than that. You know, I could say a lot about this, but I'm trying to maintain some decorum here with respect to what is before us. And I don't want to get into the fact that people have contracts already that haven't even been voted on, or there's potential. So I don't want to get into all that. I'm just trying to say that we live there. I met with the constituents there, and we decided collectively. And if I need to provide the role who were there and how we voted, and we voted as a matter of public record. And I don't think we go against the wishes of the people and the community and the council that represents that district.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Council Woods, because you did have, because he was responding back to your question, so let me yield back to you.
Yeah, what are the three entities that you were referring to?
You have representatives from the community, you have neighborhood folk, you have stakeholders, and then the business folk. So that's 4.
Mr. President.
This is to promote 5 Points West.
All right.
I think we can best dictate how that need to be done.
All right. Council Woods, and then I'll come.
Yeah,
Council
well,
Woods had the floor again, then I'll come to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. They're gonna have to work through the 5 Points West Crossplex Business Alliance.
Right.
Are they all coordinating together?
Yeah. We met.
Okay. But like I'm just saying,
Last
according to
Monday, as a matter of fact, I have Loza to bring the sign-in sheet so you all can see who were there to verify that these people were from 5 Points West. I mean, that was the whole purpose of delaying it, is so that we can get a greater understanding.
Right.
And once I understood all the various parts to it, this is what we agreed on as a group.
Right. Yeah, I'm just saying the agreement itself will be with the 5 Points West Crossplex Business Alliance, so they'll be the one making the ultimate decision on.
It'll be a collective. This grant was written for the business, neighborhood, and community folk to be involved in this process.
Okay, hold on. Okay, here we are.
Well, it sounds like they have.
Hold on.
It sounds like they have agreed to do that.
Right.
And so if they have voluntarily agreed to do that, then taking that consideration, I think you're good.
Okay, let me just finish. Are you finished, Council? Because I want to give everybody a chance, and I'm going to go to the mayor to respond. Are you want to come back to you, Council Woods, or are you?
No, my point is just that, the 5 Points West Crossplex Business Alliance will decide on, out of all this available scope, how to expend those funds. If they're open to accepting feedback from other entities or other stakeholders in the area, then I think we're good with what we have. I don't think contractually we can add anybody to it, but if they're willing to work with the other stakeholders, I think you're good.
Yeah, well, and I have a letter here. Sorry.
Okay, you're going to respond back to Mr. Woods. Okay, and then I'm going to call on the mayor. So let's go ahead, Councilor Hoyt. Response back to
and
Councilor Woods.
I'll read it in part. I don't have to read the whole thing. But it says, Monday before the election of the officers attended this is from Mr. Frank Woodson, attended a meeting with the Business Alliance leadership. Several officers, neighborhood officers, community officers, 5 Points West citizens, and our council representative, the Honorable Stephen Hoyt. The goal of the meeting was to gain a deeper understanding of the Bowl Grant and to hear the citizens and the business owners' thoughts regarding the use of painted murals. After much discussion, it was the consensus that the mural project in the neighborhood should be coordinated in conjunction with the neighborhood, and that it would be used, it would use the Bowl Grant resources to look for other visual and art mediums. that we would have a liaison with the surrounding neighborhoods and communities to communicate the project that directly impacts them, and says to move forward with accepting the grant and to move the community forward. Now, that sounds like a consensus, doesn't it? And let me just send this to you. He might have sent it already. I think he did. He sent it to all you all.
Okay. All right. Okay. Mr. Mayor?
It's not, Mr. President, thank you, and I want to thank Councilor Woods for his comments because they were spot on. Just a couple points. The 26 commercial districts that exist in our city. The BOLD grant applied dollars to 4 of these districts. Downtown Inslee, downtown North Birmingham, and the 4th Avenue Business District. There were no problems. There were no problems. Contract remained intact as it was. We've been able to move forward with doing things to support those business districts. This item was delayed for many reasons, but I think one of the main reasons, and it was said from this day, is from one of your colleagues, not liking murals. And then a campaign was created to make sure those murals were taken out of this BOLD grant. I want to make this clear. This is not past one committee, but it's past 2 committees. I think contracts have been changed when everybody's agreed, meaning the contract is between the Business Alliance and the City of Birmingham, not through the community. And so in that regard, the city economic development, based on what we've approved, based on what this council has approved, ready to move forward with the contracts as is, up or down, but object to any form of any change.
Is this your name up
Yes.
again? Or
Yes,
okay, so
it
let's
is.
go Councilor Hoyt, Councilor Woods. Let's go ahead, Councilor Hoyt.
Yeah. Providing that if we were in a utopian society and all things were equal, then I could buy what has been suggested. But each one of our districts dictates something different. From an economic development standpoint, from its vitality, from its aesthetics. You know, there are any number of things that we can consider as tenants. I've been a part of this community and been a part of this whole dynamic of neighborhood, been an officer, now serving on the council, served on many boards and what have you. I think I get a sense from neighbors, because I'm the one knocking on doors and talking to folk, get a sense of what this neighborhood really needs. Now, if this to be the priority vision that the administration has of 5 Points West, then that's a low look. When we know that if we don't do something and get economic development strategies, you know, it's ironic that Woodlawn gets a strategy, but we get a mural. You know, North Birmingham gets a plan, but we get a mural. And there's been little or no effort in terms of economic development with respect to west of 65. But that ain't on me. But what is on me is the fact that I have to articulate the concerns of the people. Nobody was coerced. I just read to you a letter that the meeting that we had, and I don't know why these are labor pains for the administration. I really don't. And Crossplex is half developed because there's little or no efforts in terms of economic priority for 5 Points West. And I just, it's not fair that we would allow this to happen. But maybe maybe it's division. I don't know. But I think we are better than 5 murals. Because I could think that we could have spent that money on aesthetics and other things of that nature to really bring people into the 5 Points West community. I mean, I do have a business sense. I have a neighborhood sense. I have a corporate, because I've served on some of these boards around here. I understand economic development. I understand the impact of economic development. And having chaired economic development and finance. But here we got somebody dictating to what we think is good for us. That should not happen.
Okay.
And the residents are the ones who support these businesses. They understand that. That's why they agreed in that meeting that, they don't want to get sideways with the residents, because we're the ones who patronize their businesses. But y'all do what you want to do. I've raised my concerns.
All right, here's where we are.
And it's, it's, well, don't worry about it, because it'll come back up.
No. Councilor Hoyt, what we're saying is that we're going to let Council Woods and the mayor and Ms. Abbott, Council Abbott speak. We can't get everybody on the same page. We're going to move to table it and let us try to work something out before the end of the meeting. So Council Woods, Councilor Abbott, and Mayor Wolfen. And then at that point, if we see if we can move the item, and then if not, we're going to table it. Okay?
Just a point of information.
Just hold on.
Just a point of information.
Hold on. Yes, sir.
If you look at the scope of service on Exhibit A, says organization capacity is the heading. It says here, to work with Main Street and other consulting groups to develop a plan with each committee and training volunteers and board members.
Okay. All right, that's your port of information.
That's in the grant.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'm just,
Mr. President.
All right, we're going to Councilor Woods, Councilor Abbott, Mayor Wolfen. We can't have a consensus. We're going to move to table. So, Councilor Woods. Yes,
like I said, I don't think this is necessary to table. I think under the current agreement, what you just read, a piece of it, if you look at number 2, number 3, number 4, all those different things are options that they could utilize those funds for. Mm-hmm. If you change the language from 5 to up to 5, then the Business Alliance can decide to do anywhere from 0 to 5 murals. And so I think if we make that one change, if I am incorrect, legal department definitely feel free to jump in, but I think we're talking the same language, and you could accomplish what you want to accomplish if the Business Alliance has had a change of heart.
Council President, can I respond?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the issue is, my colleague, is the people who are at the meeting that is involved in the Business Alliance and all decided collectively that we would extract the murals and that we would come up with a project together on how to best promote the 5 Points West. That's what came out of the meeting. Now, you all delayed it at my request, and I think it was my duty to ask for them to convene a meeting, and we did. I don't recall us changing anything about what people did, the Business Alliance and 5 Points or South or any of these places. We never debated on this.
Okay. You're responding to his question. Okay. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, the only Business Alliance that I'm really very, very cognizant of is the 5 Points South. So the 5 Points South Business Alliance coordinates with the neighborhood association in 5 Points on all the things that they do. I mean, they let them know what they're up to. So my question about Councilor Hoyt's meeting was, were the members of the Business Alliance included in that meeting, or was it just the neighborhood people? I'm not sure I heard who was in that meeting. And maybe the thing to do is to have the Business Alliance and the neighborhood associations in that area get together, because I would love to have the murals in 5 Points South, so you can move them over to 5 Points. But yeah, there's lots of us that would like the murals. But I would say about murals that there are murals and then there are murals. And I agree that the neighborhood association should be able to, you know, like, see what is being proposed for the mural to make sure that they feel that it supports the ambiance of their part of town and what they think is you know, good for their neighborhood. So I understand. I think the main thing is people not knowing what's going on. You know, people not being included, and maybe there needs to be better coordination. But I also don't know how long the 5 Points West Alliance has been together. If they're newly formed, they may not have had time to think about including the folks in the neighborhood. So I'm supportive of this. I like the idea of murals. We have a lot of ugly sides on buildings that need to be covered up with something. I was brokenhearted when they painted over the tree out here on the side of our building. I was hopeful it could be renovated instead of just painted white. So murals can really add a lot to a city. And I think that this can be coordinated between the neighborhood folks and the Business Alliance, and everybody can go away singing a happy tune.
All right, let me ask you. Thank you, Councilor Abbott. Mr. Mayor?
Please vote this contract as is, up or down.
Okay. Hold on. Ms. Councilor Woods, was that old? Your name being up. That's all I'm just asking. If not, I can move on back to Councilor Hoyt.
Yeah, you can go to Councilor Hoyt first.
All right, I just saw names, so I didn't know. All right, do you want to say something, Councilor Hilliard? Because you haven't spoken on this, and then we'll come back.
Well, at the proper time, Mr. President, I'd like to offer a motion to vote this up or down.
Okay, we're going to get to that. Councilor Hoyt, we're going to come back. We don't seem to, do we have a consensus? If not, we're going to move the table. We're going to table it and see if we can. Well, we're going to move the table. If I just want to know.
I just want to be clear.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to the grant.
We got that.
Okay.
We got that.
And we can say what we want to say, but when you're talking about putting permanent mirrors, there's upkeep, there's all this stuff, and we can look at the mirrors around the city now. Look at the one in Southtown in disrepair. They painted around there. We can look at any number of these mirrors around, and there's no maintenance, no nothing. And it looks a hot mess. That's what the young folks say, a hot mess. And so if the mayor, if that's the highest view he has of Ensley, then let it be. But I'm going to remind my constituents that everybody else got a plan. Everybody else got a strategic plan. But you think the best thing that you can do for 5 Points West is to give us a damn mirror.
Okay, all right.
So go ahead, I'll vote on it.
No, hold on. Let's try to move to have.
That's ridiculous.
All right, Councilor Hoyt. Councilor Hoyt.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Councilor Hoyt.
I'm sorry. You got me, Doctor. You got me.
Yes, sir. All right, we're gonna move to table this item.
Mr. President.
Councilor.
Mr. President.
All right, we got a motion on the floor.
Councilor.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So we try, table is dealing with the same meeting, so.
I understand. I know exactly. Yeah, we're gonna table a motion.
For this meeting, we're gonna come back and take it back up during the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. We got a motion and a second, so.
What are we seconding? What?
we're moving to table this item.
Second.
Who made the
Is that
motion?
what you-
I'm sorry.
Second.
Who made the motion?
I made the motion, and it's Council Hoyt seconded.
All right, 1 second.
I second.
All right, voting is open for the table.
All right.
Council members Hart and O'Quinn. Thank you.
All right, that passes. The item's been tabled. Next item, Mr.
All
Clerk.
right, 1 second here. So going to 7, this should be next. Item 7 has been requested to be withdrawn by the Law Department. Give me a second to note that. Give me 1 second, Council. Are you still going with it?
Yes.
Well, it's the same thing, basically, but... Okay, 1 second, Council. Are we withdrawing it or delaying it? Which one? 1 week? There's a request for a 1 week delay.
Okay.
First of all, let's just get it before us.
Right.
I get a motion on that?
Move the item.
Second.
Okay, the item...
Parker Smith.
My name's
Or is the item before us?
Just before you now for do whatever you want to do with it. Dispose of it.
Okay. At the
Is the
Council
law,
Williams.
thank you, Mr. President. Is the law department asking for a 1 week delay?
That's correct.
Okay. The law department, just so you guys know, this needs to be brought before Public Safety Committee. So I motioned that we send this back to committee, and that will encompass more than a week for you guys to
So would you just
do whatever.
you just
So
want to
my
refer-
motion is just to send
refer
it
to committee.
Correct.
So okay, that'll know the time frame then. It'll just send it to the committee.
It was Council Williams, Council Hilliard.
Okay. Voting should be open for the referral. Right. All right, that vote should be up, and that's
All right.
public safety, correct?
Correct. That item passes. Item's been referred to Public Safety Committee.
Okay.
Next item.
We're at item 8. Item 8, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the New Haven Apartments LP, wherein the parties desire to extend the payment of the principal indebtedness of the mortgage and mortgage note to be due and payable on May the 1st, 2034, in the amount of $316,800 plus interest. Motion, please.
Move the item.
Second. Whoa. What is? Hold on.
Second.
I'll second it in a second.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Yeah, let's take a, we need motion, take a recess. Hold on. There's a motion, take a recess for 5 minutes, okay? All right.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, thank you. We'll recess 5 minutes.
Are we going to meet somewhere
No,
or just
we're just-
recess?
no, we're just-
Cooling off period. Yeah, I would have to agree with the neighborhood. I would want to see some murals before they actually were painted up on the walls, but all it is a coordination problem with the community and this business alliance. They just need to talk to each other.
You all about ready?
I'll call the roll.
All right, please do.
Councilmember Alexander.
Here.
Council President Pro Tem Alexander, I apologize.
Okay.
Councilmember Hilliard. Present. Councilmember Hoyt. Present. Councilmember O'Quinn.
Present.
Councilmember Smitherman.
Present.
Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Woods. Present. Councilmember Abbott. Present. President Parker.
Present. All righty. We're back on item 8. Is that where we are? Left off, Mr. Clark? Okay. Did anyone have questions about number 8? I think Council Hoyt, you had some questions, so you want to take over number 8? Yeah, I think we did the motion, yeah.
Number 8. Yes, I just want to understand how this is going to impact the city as a whole. And, if there's a plan, obviously, you've written this grant, but, what's the plan? And how are we going to unfold it?
Chief, or Mr. Mayor? He's saying, what's the plan? How are you going to unfold the item 8 with the New Haven Apartments LLP?
Is that item 8? Oh, no, yes, yeah, okay. I'm on the wrong item, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yes.
so you're good with number 8 or not?
No,
Okay, you want to?
no, I'm just trying to figure out why are we buying a apartment complex, and what are we going to do with it?
It's to extend the payment of the principal, so,
Because, and who is the proprietor? Because none of that information was in the back of the what's the name? It only had the resolution, and it didn't get into any great detail about what was the purpose of this, other than we would,
do we need
going
to
to
table it?
assume the note or whatever.
Council Hoyt, the mayor is back. Okay.
Yeah, the question is, Mayor, what are we doing? Why are we buying, into this agreement with New Haven Apartments? And what's the purpose, and what's the plan? And how can the city benefit from this?
Affordability. I think members on this council talk about affordable housing all the time. This is part of our affordability housing program. It's been in existence for some while. As a portion of this, we're extending this mortgage with them to continue our efforts around affordable housing for the next 20 years.
So I guess that's what I need to understand, the plan, because if we do affordable housing, I think all of our districts have iterations of blight, and so if there's a plan to do infill housing or to do rehab or whatever it is that we're doing, we need to know that. The city needs, the council need to know that.
Be glad, Mr. President, to present this to you at a committee of the whole meeting.
Okay, but then can we move to the latest item until we get the plan and understand what that, because that's going to impact all of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, hold on, Mr. Mayor. Hold on. This is council. What we're going to do is Councilor Quinn and then go to Councilor Abbott. I can't see the speaker, so we'll just have to.
No,
That's Councilor O'Quinn and then Councilor Abbott.
So I just wanted to hopefully help a little bit. We heard this item last night at the Budget and Finance Committee meeting. And so this is a 56-unit apartment complex in Pratt City that was developed using CDBG home funds.
Okay.
And those, it is a senior facility, so persons, I believe 55 years and up are in these units. And the purpose of the extending the mortgage would be, as it was explained to us, would be to continue the possibility or continue having the units at affordable prices. So if the mortgage is not extended, those units would go to market rate rents. And so the purpose of this item is to keep those units at a subsidized rate And I believe that kind of covers most of it.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Abbott.
I have a follow-up.
Councilor Abbott.
Yeah, and one other point about this agreement, and thank you for saying all that, it kept me from having to say it, was that they were getting money also from the state of Alabama to do some renovations, and so this is all sort of a package deal. And there is a deadline that we need to meet in order to make all this happen. And of course, we don't want any of those senior citizens to be, forced out of their units because the cost went up significantly. So that's what's behind all of this.
Okay, you mentioned a deadline. Hold on.
Okay.
There was a
And
deadline.
I don't remember the deadline, but I'm sure they can tell us.
Okay, so,
February.
okay, we're aware of that. Okay, Councilor Hoyt, then we go to Councilor
Yes,
Hilliard.
I don't have the ability to.
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead and
Well,
I don't see it
and-
either. I don't have it either, but go ahead.
And I guess my question would be, this apartment, does it receive HUD funds now? Or did it in the inception?
It's through the CDBG home funds.
Home funds.
Okay. Well, then, if they receive it from that, then it has to be affordable, and quite frankly, but that's not predicated on anything that we do, because if you come and get HUD's monies, they have a mandate of deconcentrating poverty and what have you, and so as a part of HUD funding, you have to provide a certain amount of those units for the seniors, for 202, which is seniors, and the handicapped and the elderly and that kind of thing. So what I can understand is why we giving them additional monies for that when in fact, if this was all explained.
The time is up, and we're extending it.
So you basically refinance.
So who owns this building is what
Okay, so here's a couple things. I think Councilor Hoyt's asking, who are the principals in the company? Who's New Haven Apartments LP?
That information was not given in
Okay, and it's not, we're just basically refinancing the original loan. Is that what I'm hearing, Ms. Abbott and Dr. O'Quinn?
Yes.
Which takes it through 2020,
Right.
2034.
Right.
Okay.
Is it too much to ask who's the owner, the proprietor of this business? We do have a transparency
Okay.
ordinance. Who?
President Lithia Property.
Who is that?
Okay, okay. Council, here we're gonna go, and was that in you all's packet, the information, I guess, who the owners were, New Haven?
Well, it doesn't give people's names. It was New Haven Apartments LP, which is a not-for-profit. But we don't have we didn't have the people's names that are the principals or anything.
Okay, Councilor Hilliard.
Thank
and
you,
then we'll
Mr.
come back
President. To my
Councilor Hilliard.
distinguished colleagues, I will ask that we move this along and vote this out to meet the deadlines. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Councilor Hoyt.
Yes, it's in my district. I want to vote for it.
I got it, Councilor Hilliard. I got it. What I'm doing is
I'm gonna vote with you
Okay.
when I understand.
Councilor Hoyt, come on now. Councilor Hoyt, here's where we are. Can we get the additional information who the principals are? If we go ahead and move on it and get that information to you. Could we do that?
We can amend it to provide, for them to provide that. Mr. President, what I don't want to do, and I don't want to happen here, is that our job, we have a fiduciary responsibility as counselors. What I don't want to happen is to pit us against each other, because that don't need to happen. Now, my line of question hadn't changed in 14 and a half years. It shouldn't be any different with a new mayor or anybody. Now, you all may not like me, and I'm not here to be liked, but do respect me as a duly elected person in this city who served with you on a continuum. And, we passed an ordinance that spoke to transparency. Now, have we gotten away from transparency? Because if we are, we need to let the public know that we don't care who come down here and get city dollars, and we don't know who they are. I don't know who Liberty is. Liberty could be a woman, could be a man. You know, Liberty could be somebody from Iran or somebody somewhere.
Okay.
So I'm saying I need to know.
Okay.
And what's wrong with providing that information? Now, Mr. President, now that's your business there. Now, you're my leader. So
All right,
I just
thank
need
you,
to know.
Councilor Hoyt. All right, what were you saying, Mr. Mayor?
Just that I'd appreciate those who do come to committee meetings and those who read and those who understand that this is federal guidelines, so all transparency.
Okay, can we find out a little bit more who New Haven is, just so we can?
Yes, we'll Google it and text it to your colleague. Yes, sir.
Okay. If you could make that available to everyone, Mr. Mayor. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Dr. Hoyt, is that?
Yeah, well, Mr. President, now this is a new day for me. I've ever sat on the council where when a council asked for information, they were not provided with that, or they were made to look like they're asking for something extraordinary, and it's not. Now this has been, I realize that we have practically a new council up here, but we still have a responsibility to employ due diligence. And I can't help it that I've been here 14 and a half years and I've seen every iteration there is to see. But part of the reason why I'm here is because I'm informed. And like what's being portrayed, I do read and I do understand, but I also do work.
No.
And I can't meet every meeting as none of us do.
No.
But what I don't want to do is to have to deal with this every Tuesday. When I ask for the information, I need it.
Okay.
And if you're walking down the hall and you stop at my office and ask me my input, then chances are we might have to have these conversations out here. But if you don't, then I can promise you I'm going to pull it off. We're going to have some discussion about it. And if we have to have discussion on 1,000 items, we will. Because what I'm not going to do, nobody's going to circumvent my ability to employ my duties as a counselor. Now that's not going to happen today, ever. I'm like George Wallace, not today, not ever, forever. So I'm just here to tell you.
Okay. All right, so what's the happy median here? Councilor Hoyt?
Listen,
No. I'm asking, if the mayor's going to provide us.
I want the information. And I want the information, and you need to request that it come to every counselor.
I did do that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, very good.
Yes, sir, I did that 2 minutes ago. Okay. Yes, sir. All right.
A lot of stuff going on.
Okay, all right. And the mayor has agreed that he will provide us all that information.
Yeah, we'll get you the identity number, which is 502-804, the entity type, domestic limited partnership. We can get you the place of formation, which is Jefferson County, the formation date, 12/22/97. We'll get you the registered agent name, Jeff Beaver, and we even get you the registered address, 404 East McKinney Avenue, Albertville, Alabama, 35950. We'll get you the general partner name. We'll get you the transaction date, which is 7/15/2014. We'll get you the transaction date, the registered agent change form. We'll get you everything you want.
Okay, all right.
That's what we need.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move on this item, and we'll be looking forward for the information. All right, so is there a motion, Mr. Hilliard?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion that we move on this item.
Second.
That's not necessary. It's already before you. Who made the motion, original motion?
We'll just go with Mr. Hilliard and Dr. O'Quinn.
All right. And O'Quinn, second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the item is open for, it should be open for voting. Hold on 1 second here. O'Quinn, Councilmember O'Quinn. Yeah. All right, now. And I'm sorry, Councilman Williams, I have you out, so how would you like to vote? I'll put you back in the system.
Aye.
Thank you.
And I guess,
And we're missing Council President Parker.
aye. I thought you said you was gonna vote for it.
Oh,
Okay, all right. All right, that item passes 9-0. All right, next item.
All right, we're at item 9, which is same page. A resolution authorizing the mayor to apply, accept, and expend grant funds on behalf of the city of Birmingham in the amount of $267,000 from the Office of Civil Rights, Office of Justice Programs, United States Department of Justice, as authorized by U.S. Code of Federal Regulations under the FY19 Body Worn Camera Policy and Implementation Program to support law enforcement agencies. A project supported by grant number 2019 BCBX 0066 for a term of 1 year and authorizing the mayor to take any and all actions and execute such other documents as appropriate and necessary in accordance with the terms of the grant. Motion, please.
I move approval.
second.
That was Counselor Abbott, Counselor Williams.
Item should be before you.
All right, Counselor Hoyt, do you have a question, or?
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
just want to know the plan and how we going to unfold this.
The plan is to actually equip our police officers, body and uniform, to be able to wear body cameras, and then to deploy them out into the community, so when they engage people, things can be recorded.
So, Mr. Mayor, how many folks we have now with body cameras? I know we did appropriate some money, maybe almost $1 million before, and so we ought to have a number now. How many would this serve?
That's a great question. Don't have the detailed information in front of me, but you have the contract in front of you, Mr. President?
Oh, we can look at it. I'm going to ask Chairman Williams, do you want to speak to this, Rennie, or while?
Yeah, I think, Mr. President, that Assistant Chief Treadaway came to Public Safety and shed some light specifically on this grant. This grant, which is a little bit over $250,000 from the DOJ, would allow us to, and I don't know Mr. Hoyt's question about the exact number of officers that have cameras, obviously, but this would allow us to purchase more of the latest generation that will allow the technology is much better, and it will
Okay,
allow.
so this be an upgrade then?
Yes, it will allow them to purchase the latest version of body cameras. Yes, sir.
All right, Counselor Hoyt?
No, I'm good. I just want to know.
All right, good. We're ready to vote. Mr. Clark?
Missing your votes.
Yes. All right, that item passes. Next item, sir.
Item 10. A resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Birmingham to make grant application with the U.S. Department of Justice through the Alabama Department of Economic Community Affairs, Law Enforcement and Traffic Safety Division under the Violence Against Women Formula Grant in accordance with 34 U.S.C. 10441 and other appropriate federal authorizations for financial awarding in the amount of $59,356.88. Said funds to be used to provide municipal court prosecution services to victims of domestic violence and other crimes, and the city shall be accountable. I'm sorry, I lost my space here. Accountable for providing the payment match funds in the amount not to exceed $19,785.63, and authorizing the mayor to take any and all actions and execute such documents as appropriate and necessary to accept and expend the grant funds on behalf of the city. Motion, please.
Second.
All right, that was Counselor Williams and President Pro Tem Alexander. Counselor Hoyt?
Yes, I just think this is a great idea. Certainly want to thank Judge Sparks and his team and the mayor's folks for providing this. We know that domestic violence is on the uprise, and certainly anything that we can do to help to dissipate this kind of activity, and we need to be doing that. We've just seen so much happen, particularly to our girls, our women, and so this is excellent. I think the public need to know that we are working towards that end, and that there are resources here to assist in that matter. And so, but that's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
All right, we're ready for a vote. Probably another hour.
Councilmember Parker, President Parker.
Yes. All right, that item passes. Next item.
Item number 11, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Birmingham to make grant application to the U.S. Department of Justice with the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs for a financial award in the amount of $10,000. Said funds to be used by the Birmingham Public Library to provide increased awareness of the 2020 census in hard-to-count Alabama communities. No matching funds are due from the city. And authorize the mayor to take any and all actions and execute such documents as are appropriate and necessary to apply for accepting and spending grant funds on behalf of the city. Motion, please.
I move approval. Second.
All right, that was Councilor Abbott, Councilor Hoyt.
Oh,
Councilor Hoyt, well, you made the motion, so I would just say you a second. Okay. All right, Councilor Hoyt, you...
Yes, again, the public needs to be aware, we really need people to participate in the census. Much is predicated on that, our funding, how we receive funds, and those kinds of things. So I want to commend the administration for reaching out to the library. I think it's a good fit, a good conduit, because we have libraries that are neatly tucked in our communities, and so kudos to the library system and the board, because this is what it's going to take, and there are a lot of people going in and out of our libraries with respect to that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Councilor. I will just say one or two comments, and then we'll vote, and we'll have more to say on this probably later today or in the morning. We understand the importance of the census. We're all going to work collectively to make sure we educate the citizens of the city of Birmingham on the importance of it. It affects, federal funding, also the congressional districts, and so we will making sure as a council, working along with the mayor and the other stakeholders, that we engage the community. So we'll be working feverishly to set up some different community engagement meetings or town hall meetings throughout the city of Birmingham between now and April. And also the council will be forming a new committee that deals with the census 2020, and so we'll have more to say later today about that. And so, and that also, those numbers, those numbers will also dictate the drawing of new council district lines as well as congressional district lines. And so the council is tasked every 10 years on addressing the issues of redistricting within the council district. So that committee will oversee not only the census 2020, but also the redistricting of the district lines for council districts. So anyway, we'll be announcing those dates and making some other announcements as to those members of the council that will be serving on that committee. And they'll have to hit the ground running pretty feverishly, because we need to make sure we educate everyone between now and April. So with that,
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to say that the committee yesterday did ask for us to be provided with what the library is going to do with that grant money, how they're going to go about increasing the awareness of the census. We just asked for that, so that'll be shared with all the members of the council.
Yes, ma'am. And so I think this new committee will basically make sure we have a seamless coordination between all the different groups that are out. I know I've been getting stuff at my door from census representatives. So just make sure the public is aware. You can do it online or the old-fashioned way. So we just want to make sure that everyone is aware of it and make sure we maximize that every person does count. So with that, any other questions on this particular matter?
Mr. President, is there, hopefully we can coordinate with the library so we don't duplicate whatever efforts.
I think it'll be the library, I think it'll be community centers, I think it'll be senior citizen groups. I think we're going to be working in tandem with the mayor, and all the different other community stakeholders and groups that are out here. So we'll be having a coordinated effort, but we want to make sure that the council is at the table and moving forward to make sure we educate the public. Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, and Mr. President, to add to that, it's important that we communicate, the council and the mayor communicate how important this is, and we need to also look at doing a commercial.
We're going to be doing all of that. We're going to coordinate. That's what I'm saying. We're coordinating all.
Okay.
Yeah. From the mayor and the council and the other stakeholders, we're going to coordinate. Yes, sir. So we use the community centers, the libraries, different. Don Hawkins has the senior groups come there. We're going to coordinate all the different assets of where people working with the school, faith community, the schools. We're going to coordinate all those efforts. We just want to make sure that we're together here at the council to make sure that we're working along with the mayor and the other city departments and other different organizations. So we're good. Council Hort, ready to move this? Okay. All right. Mr. Clerk, ready to vote.
Council Pro Tem Alexander and Council Parker.
Yes.
I vote yes, but my hand isn't working.
Okay. That vote should be up.
Okay, that item passes. Next item, sir.
Item 28 has been requested to be withdrawn, so then we will go to item 35, which is on page 21. A resolution accepting the lump sum bid of Cross Building Company, LLC, Vestavia, Alabama, in the amount of $133,450 for fire station number 24, re-roofing. There being no bids submitted at the originally stipulated bid date, and the city being allowed under Title 39 Code of Alabama 1975 to negotiate a contract sum for the work and authorize the mayor to enter into a contract with said Cross Building Company, LLC, and substantially the form contained within the bid documents in accordance with the said bid, providing that the total compensation payable under that contract not exceed the appropriation. And I'm guessing, I'm sure that's Vestavia Hills. So.
All right, do we have enough?
Second.
Okay, it's Councilor Quinn and Councilor Abbott. Councilor Abbott, yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just wanted an explanation of what happened here. It said there were no bids, but when I looked at the supporting documents, it looked like Costin and someone else had bid. And then I wondered if there were no Birmingham firms that we could negotiate with rather than negotiating with a firm in Vestavia. So I just thought someone might be able to explain the situation here.
Mr. President, no one bid it. And so under the Public Works Act, we had to go out and ask for bids. And the only two people that submitted from post no one bidding and then us going out are these two organizations. I'm sorry, these two companies.
Okay, so there weren't any companies in Birmingham that we could negotiate with?
Correct.
Really? No roofing companies in the city limits of Birmingham?
I could think about a bunch of them.
I can think about a bunch too, but the way the process works and what we submitted and then what we went out and did, this is the only thing that yield.
Is the bid sheet included in here?
Yeah, I mean, it's in there. I guess it just bothers me if we're going to have to negotiate with someone because no one bid on our projects, and it makes me wonder why no one wants to bid on the city of Birmingham's work. But everything being equal, I certainly would like to see Birmingham firms being the ones that we're negotiating contracts with if we have to handle it this way. It just seems like the right thing to do. So I just want to say that because I'm pro Birmingham. I want our firms, people who choose to locate in the city of Birmingham, to be the ones that get our business if we're out there negotiating. Certainly you understand if you bid, you have to take whoever is the low bidder that's qualified. But if we're negotiating, I'd just like to see Birmingham businesses get the business. Just, that's the way I feel about it.
Okay. Anybody else? Councilor Hort, did you have?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, it certainly doesn't help us with our minority participation numbers at all. But that doesn't seem to be a priority of this administration. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention that.
Councilor Hort.
Okay.
Mr. President, you
Hold on. Hey,
That's a fact.
hold on. All right, hold on, guys. Hold on.
Mr. President.
Hold on. Councilor Hort.
Now, Mr. President.
Councilor Hort. No. I understand. No,
President, as a point
that
of
wasn't.
information,
No,
we
ain't no
should not
point.
make, when I raise questions,
Okay, that's fine.
that's my
but
prerogative
I
to do
understand
that.
that, but let's keep the
I've not
comments.
called a name, I said administration. and
Okay,
that
all right,
could
well,
be a
that
whole lot
throws to me.
different
Okay, all right. Okay, all right.
thing. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, you good? Comment?
And
Hold
information.
on, no, hold on. The mayor has the floor, so
It's your
we're
meeting.
going to be brief.
It's your
aren't
meeting,
we?
Mr. President.
Sir?
It's your meeting, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. Councilor Hoyt, did you have anything as a wrapping up and moving on to the next item?
Yeah.
So what's the point of
I
it? What's the,
just want to bring to you, to the forefront, when somebody mentions the other councilors, I think you need to speak to that too.
I have been doing that. I have been doing that.
One council.
I have done that, sir. I did it at this meeting.
All right.
Yes, sir. All right. So we're good? Everybody good? All right. We're ready to vote. Mr. Clark.
Council President Pro Tem Alexander.
Yes.
President Parker.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoyt.
Yes.
That vote should be up.
All right, that item passes. Next item, sir.
We should be at addendum item 48.
Okay. Couldn't call it up.
Item 48, an ordinance authorizing the mayor upon receipt of payment in the amount of $3,768.96 to execute a quitclaim deed to Shirley Halfacre Bosoff for the sale of property legally described as lots 6 and 7 and 9 and 10 and 11 J.M. McHiggins resurfacing as recorded in map book 8, page 83 in the probate office of Jefferson County, Alabama, and physically located at 1710 34th Street, Birmingham, which was required by the city upon foreclosure of municipal improvement liens in accordance with section 3-1-4C, the general code of the city of Birmingham. And to pass today, I need UC.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And motion on the item.
I move approval.
Second.
I think that's Councilmember Williams in there, Councilmember Abbott. The item is before you. Did we have some changes to this item or something? Nothing?
Which issue was?
We're on item 48, the addendum item. I thought we had a page change.
That's it. Okay, I think we have it.
Okay.
Before us. Was it the, what was changed?
I think the last page of
The last sentence, I think.
be it further resolved or the now therefore city. Be it further ordained that the mayor is authorized to execute any other document necessary to convey the city of Birmingham's interest in the property to the designated grantee, and the judgment said council, the property is not needed for public or municipal purposes. That was the section, I guess, that was added.
Okay, Councilor Abbott. Okay, Councilor Abbott.
Yeah, and my question is this the owner redeeming the property after losing it to the city for payment of liens? Is that what this situation is?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, everybody's good? All right, we're ready to vote.
All right, voting should be open. Council Pro Tem Alexander.
Yes.
All right, and President Parker.
Yes.
All right, that vote should be up.
Okay, that item passes.
We got a tabled item 6, still on the table.
Are we ready? Do we have everything worked out, or we need to move on with the agenda? Okay, let's move on.
Mr. President, yeah.
Let's move on. Mr. Clerk, let me tell you, there's one item dealing with travel for Council Williams going to Washington, D.C., January 30th through February 1st. So moved. Second.
This is for UC. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and I need a motion on the item.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
All right, great. That's also there was when we did Council Hoyt, you did the public purpose for the gun back. We need to strike that and make it the MLK
Day of service.
Day events,
reconsider
which
the
will
item.
include. Okay, we need the motion to reconsider.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Now, motion on the item.
Move the item.
Second.
All right, now it's back before you.
Okay, we need to strike the language, support the gun back program, and it needs to be supporting the MLK Day events, which will be held from January 17th through the 24th, 2020, within the city of Birmingham.
Where is this document?
This was a UC item.
That was the one when Bishop Woods was up.
Okay,
And,
did we receive any language?
well, I think Mr. Hoyt did it from the
Yeah,
from the
we've
floor.
already declared it a public purpose, a day of service.
We were just simply just.
That when we gave money and bought tables and all that other stuff.
That was for the breakfast. What you're trying to do is expand it to
Okay,
include
to
those,
expand, right.
to expand those the public purpose based on the information we heard this morning from Bishop Woods when he announced several different events that were going on from, I think, Friday or Saturday through Monday evening at 16th Street Church. I think. So that's why Council Hoyt then came with the notion of declaring it a public purpose once the information was before us.
Okay, yeah, I heard all that.
Yeah.
Do we have did we receive a document that has the language that we're about to approve, or are we doing this on the fly?
Yeah,
We're doing it on the fly. We're
Deputy
flying.
Senate.
We're flying. But the only thing we're changing is just the MLK Day events that are going to go for 4 or 5 days. That's the only thing we're changing. But if you've got some hesitation on it, who wants to do? You want to draft up something pretty quick?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to
Okay.
know.
All right.
I just
So
want
here-
to, I'm kind of like Counselor Hoyt. I just want to know for sure
Okay.
what I'm approving. And I thought you were reading new language, but I didn't get anything.
No. I made some notes and stuff from it, so I would have it. No, I was just making some notes from here. That's all. Instead of writing it down, I had some notes on my phone.
On the fly.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we will come back to because you want the resolution to read it before we amend it. Is that
Well, I kind of did.
okay?
I mean, do we?
It was actually done by UC. I don't have
So,
anything.
Mr. Clerk,
that
you
would
don't
be-
have- you
No, ma'am,
can't-
I don't.
Okay,
It
well.
was done by UC, so.
Okay.
All
So
right.
someone's going to give you the language before you can do the
I'm
meeting
thinking-
minutes, right?
Am I correct?
Somebody.
I see a nod.
Yes, ma'am. I think that will be provided
Okay.
not only to you but to every council member.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Well, it's actually not this item. It's about another item. So
Okay.
I'll
All
wait.
right. Okay. We're gonna. So
table
we're
this one, too?
no. We're moving forward on the item dealing with the MLK event. So
Okay, so we need
we're
to
ready
take
to
a
vote. No, we're ready to vote.
Okay. I need a motion to
Motion.
adopt
Second.
as amended or whatever. So that's Councilor Hilliard and
Parker.
Parker for as amended the item.
Mm-hmm.
I think voting should be open.
I vote aye.
Council Pro Tem, you're fixed. Okay. Councilmember Hoyt. All right, that vote should be up for.
Okay, that item passes. Okay, we're gonna go to old and new speakers, or did you want to say something, Mr. Mayor, real quick before we go?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I apologize. I have to step out briefly, but in case you all bring this table item back up, I just have this brief note to read to each of you all. The bold items are applications we fund. I think everybody knows that. Went through, not only went through an internal process that included, I believe, one of the team members from your central staff, but they was voted upon, then we made a recommendation to this body. We made it not only through the Economic Development Committee, separate from that, we made it to the Budget and Finance Committee. So this is not the city necessarily dictating what they need to do, but we approved it through a competitive application process, which there were many applicants. I want to reiterate and restate before I leave, it should be supported up or down, simply because changing it impacts the nature of a competitive grant. So when we've gone through this process and other people are applying, if we're making any type of change that impacts the competitive grant process, you all approve through the bold process, and it makes it unfair to other applicants. So yes, all 26 commercial business districts are not equally created, not necessarily treated the same or whatever it is, but we shouldn't make any changes to this process. You all not only approve, but it's been approved through other two committees. And so I ask that you vote it up and down when you get to that table item.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're going to old and new speakers. I'll make a motion. We go to old and new speakers. Old and new business, I'm sorry. To hear the speakers.
Suspend the rules.
Suspend the rules, yeah. Second. Help me out there, Dr. Quinn. There's a lot going on up here.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, so we're at speakers. Last name Thompson, perfect note. I can't read. Is it Premack? Sorry.
Good morning. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. I want to say good morning to everybody, all the council members, President, Pro Tem, and Mayor. We appreciate this opportunity to be able to come forward in just a couple of minutes to be able to discuss our position here today. My name is Tremaine. I'm the humble servant of Perfect Note, which is a perfect place for your live music and dining experience with a live music concert venue. We have teamed up with the Magic City Smooth Jazz, which has had a footprint in the community for 10 years. And our footprint has been in the community for 7 years, 4 years, coming up on 4 years in our consistent business, but starting in Bessemer in 2012. We've had several festivals who have come to our city, but and shown very favorable in regards to that people want a festival in the city. But now, since the dust has settled from our last festival we had, we thought it'd be a good opportunity to be able to join forces with our footprints to be able to present to the city the Alabama Jazz Festival, which is going to be July 11th at the Birmingham Railroad Park. Me, myself, and of course 2 other partners have joined collectively. Our goal, of course, is to present a first-class music festival that will be a pioneer, ongoing festival for our community for years to come. And our charitable mission, we have partnered with the Better Basics, which is impactful in our inner city schools, Fairfield, Leeds, Midfield city schools, to where we will take proceeds from the festival and actually give back to their after-school programs for the Better Basics. That's going to be our, and then we have some sponsors that have came along to be able to sign Alabama Power, just did today, Wind Creek Hospitality, the Birmingham CVB, EBSCO, Bear Properties, and our Medical Properties and Trust, and our media sponsor is Summit Media, who is going to be advancing. And so we're just coming before you all today for the city support. We have met with Councilor Quinn, and I felt that this will be our perfect opportunity to be able to grab everybody in one time, to be able to show you all what we're presenting, and to hopefully be able to garner your support for the Alabama Jazz Festival. We have drawn up I have 9 pamphlets that I want to be able to hand out to you guys to leave you all with some hard copy. Some hard copy pamphlets just to be able to see. We have 4 spots that are open that we would like for the city to participate in. 2 of those spots have been taken, so we do have 2 more, and we would love to be able to have the city signature stamp on that, on this jazz festival, for us to be able to have something great and welcoming to our city, to where people can come out and be able to have fun along with the process of a staple in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Alice Westery.
Good morning, councilors, mayor's office. Thank you for allowing us to come before you. I'm just waiting for a few of the other TCAB members, which is the Transit Citizen Advisory Board. I'm Alice Westry, and I am the vice president for the Transit Citizens Advisory Board. And I'm here to actually inform the council, the public, and also the mayor's office of who the Citizen Transit Advisory Board is, TCAB, and what we do and how we're advocating. We're not here to ask for funding, but what we want to do is make sure that the council and the citizens are aware of what we're doing to advocate for quality transit for all of our citizens. We also have a handout that would basically have information on how we're working with the community, with the citizens in all of our 23 communities and 99 neighborhoods, in helping them to be motivated to advocate for themselves. And we would just like for you all to have that. But what we'd like to let you know that we are advocating and standing up for the choice riders and the dependent riders for Birmingham and Jefferson County Transit. We are requesting funding from members of the Alabama legislature, and we have already started a petition at Central Station with the riders and have over 700 signatures. These 700 signatures, we are continuously collecting them because we are meeting twice a month at Central Station with programs like the ones that you see in the flyer that says Lead Now, which motivates riders to stand and lead. And it also has information on the back of that flyer that lets them know how to take action. We have discovered that many times when people do not stand up for themselves in order to advocate, it's because they do not know how to take action. What we would also like to do today is leave a copy of the over 700 signatures with Dr. O'Quinn, who is over the Transit Committee. And as we collect them, we are targeting for 1 million copies. We would like to let you know that we are going statewide, and we are going to be advocating with the commissioners and other legislatures, and also in the capital of the state of Alabama, in order to advocate for funding. We understand that it's very important to have a quality transportation in order for our city to move forward, and so therefore we're going to help the constituents that utilize the public transportation in order to stand up for themselves and advocate in order to get other funding sources. We'd like to thank the council and the mayor's office for the funding that we received thus far, but we know that it's going to take much more than that. And so we would just like to make sure that you're aware of what we're doing and that we are gaining support statewide, and we are advocating with the constituents, the voters of this wonderful city, in getting quality transportation.
Thank you, Mrs. Westry. And I just wanted to add your meetings, your monthly meetings, it says 10 a.m. at the intermodal facility. When do those occur? I'm sorry.
Okay, they're the first of every month,
First of every month.
On the second floor.
Okay, you have 2 counselors that would like to address you. Dr. Quinn.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to share some information with you. There was a meeting last Friday morning with the Jefferson County Legislative Delegation, and there were many of them in attendance. Senator Smitherman, Senator Wagner, and many others. And one of the primary topics of discussion was directing more funding to the Public Transportation Trust Fund that was established by an act that Senator Smitherman sponsored. And so that was advocated by the city of Birmingham, but also from the county commission. Commissioner Ammons and Commissioner Tyson in particular spoke to that issue. There was in particular discussion around the existing law that was passed, that was included in the gas tax legislation that passed last year. And I need to research this myself, but there's perhaps some confusion about how that funding can actually be used. There was discussion around that funding being used for equipment only, and with regard to that particular funding, we're advocating for more flexibility in the use of that funding, not just for equipment, but also for operations. So I just wanted to share that with you and say that, you know, we are very interested and are advocating for more funding from the state for public transportation. And thank you for leading this initiative and gathering these signatures. It's always important for us as leaders to have the support of the community behind us, and having tangible things like petitions with, you know, showing lots of support from the community is a very valuable tool. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much for that information. We really appreciate that.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
very empowering and motivating. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. O'Quinn. Mr. Williams?
Well, I think that most of my comments actually Dr. O'Quinn just mentioned, but I wanted to thank you guys as a group of guys and ladies as a group of volunteers, because I know that you know, many of the states within the United States provide permanent transit funding. Of course, Alabama does not. And I think that, you know, if we're going to have a transit system that looks like some of our competing metro areas, then we're going to have to also have the help from this permanent funding from the state of Alabama. So I think that y'all are right on the money on your initiative and your goal, and thank you for your work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And these are the petitions.
Do you have some information for us?
Dr.
Petition-
O'Quinn,
okay,
the
you already,
petitions,
okay.
I wanted to make sure that he had something tangible to carry with him. We'll make sure that you get all of those that we collect throughout this whole process.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Mildred Bennett. Mildred, I guess you was with them. Are you with that group? I had your name on the speakers list. Are you with the group?
No, I've come up here because I am with the CAC too.
Okay. Speak. I just called your name if you're willing to speak.
I'll speak for myself and I'll bring it up to you. My name next.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. I usually speak to everybody in the room because I was raised like that, and I don't speak twice, but I will this morning, this evening. We've been held up all day, but I'm gonna say this here. I'm gonna bring this up now too, since Alice brought it up. Why take our bus service and just have service for 6 miles to the entertainment center, to the south side, where they got businesses that don't even concern us? And I think it's set up for that ball diamond over there, but I heard on the radio yesterday that you're building one over here on the other side of town where I work at, because I work everywhere. So now you get our money and put it out there, then you got one coming over here. It's not right what you're doing, and you've been playing all morning. You've been playing games all morning. See, when you see somebody here that'll speak to you, it scares you. Don't take from us. We pay your salary. Do y'all understand that? And you're walking on our heads and squashing it. And it's not fair. Then I'm going to bring up about these children. Don't bring our children up here and parade them around for political reasons, because you do it. I was at the Huffman. They didn't know I was out there. They got up there and they talked and they talked. And like Miss Scales, and she said, Miss Scales, I love you. The girl didn't even know Miss Scales, because when I got outside, these children surrounded me. And I thought they was going to attack me for them speaking inside of that funeral. I was there. Even y'all, what she is, Senator was there. They lied that day. Everybody knew that good, but don't use politics for our children. But our children see us. You understand me? I work for doctors, specialists, take them over there before they moved it over there to 280. I work for lawyers. I work for sitting. And I look for retired judges. I work for them. Leave our kids out your political junk. And I'm tired of it. I waited and waited and waited. You paraded the one from up there at Ramsey. I got grandchildren up there. It was 3 boys in there. He said, do y'all know that lady right there? Don't bring mine up here, bring your own up here and parade them around for political purposes. And you're just as wrong as you can be. But you go home. Those children, what they told those folks, I know you. And you call us thugs and things. To say a child is a thug is in you as a thug to say it. You understand what I'm saying this morning? Don't bring our kids up here. You treat your dog pets better than you do our children, and I'm upset about it. When I come in here, I have something to say. Leave our children alone. You got to go back home to them. And they said that at the Huffman. They surrounded me out there and said, did you hear them? We go home with them, we live with them. So what are they calling you? If you're doing politics, what are you doing? You're corrupt. They live with you, and you end up talking about different people you work with, am I right? You got to be voicing it. But you want to raise some queens and kings and some gods. The corrupt children come out the household. They got to see it, to know it, and to do it. You understand me? Fix our neighborhoods back up. There are roads every day I go home. They have dug holes in the streets. They got signs where the... Huh?
I was just asking you to speak this way to the mic, and if you can kind of wrap it up.
They got holes in our streets, houses abandoned. You've put some cones up there on 16th Street. The corner of 16th Street, where abandoned house is, and then there's one on the corner, one across my head. What her name? What is it called?
Miss Mildred.
Hattie Williams.
Miss Mildred.
She have empty houses across from her. It don't come out. You can put all the security fences and private fences you want around yours if you want to, because I make statements. But you got to come in at those gates, don't you? You're tearing up our neighborhoods for political reasons. Am I right, Parker?
Yes, ma'am, but we got to wrap it up.
Okay, you wrap up that plan you did all day this morning.
Okay.
Because that's what you're doing, and I know you like a book.
Okay. All
and
right.
you better get your acts together. And you've taken our bus services. But all you care about is the entertainment center. To and fro, to and fro, to and fro. You don't care about us. Leave us alone. We pay your salary to dog us and have a good life.
Yes,
but
sir.
leave
Thank
our
you.
kids alone. Don't parade them up here. Don't bring your dogs up here and treat them better.
John Northrop. I'm John Northrop. I'm the Homewood.
Hold on.
Okay.
All right. Good morning. So
Good morning.
have you
Good
already
morning.
spoken, or you haven't spoken yet? Have you?
I haven't
Okay.
spoken.
All right. You have 3 minutes.
This is TCAB's bite 2 of the apple.
Go ahead.
We signed up because we wanted to make sure that we got everything we wanted to say.
So you
First,
want to do this? Are there anybody else that's signed up to speak, and we can just kind of
bring it together.
Yeah. Is there anybody else that signed up to speak? Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm John Northrop. I'm the Homewood representative on TCAB. And first of all, thank you all for your service. In addition to our general concern about funding, we a year ago came up with a concept for an actual funding act. And I won't go into great detail on it. I've got handouts here that
your staff could take. Bottom line is, we think that this is just an approach where a bill might be able to be put together. It'd be a two-stage bill where first there'd be study, and then finally, after legislative and gubernatorial study, there could be a movement forward based on consensus built during the study period. So anyway, these are just ideas. It's a draft, and we'd be glad to speak with you at any time if anybody wants to. But for now, just wanted to put the seed in the ground.
All right, thank you. Next speaker.
I have, is it Hassan? Oh, and Mr. Casey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so I just want to make sure we got, so you're going to speak,
Yeah.
and then, okay, so you just want to combine your time, or?
Yeah, we combine our time.
All right.
Coming on behalf of, my name is Fahim Hassan. Fahim Hassan, my address is 224 15th Street North, Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm coming on behalf of the Pythian organization. We have a special event we'd like to invite out the council, the mayor, and all the citizens of Birmingham. It's going to be at the 16th Baptist Church. It's going to be on Saturday, January 16th at 2:20 at 12 to 1 p.m. We're going to do the Passover celebration over the church, and also we're going to provide meals at Sauter's Restaurant afterwards. Sauter's Baptist Church, Sauter's Baptist Church, starting at 1 to 2 p.m. And we'd like to let Casey come out. So.
I want to thank the council for giving us the opportunity. But you all need to come down there and see 16th Street Baptist Church. It's spent $1 million museum in the basement there. It is awesome. Also, keep in mind that we'll come back to you at some point in time and ask you all to consider renaming 12th Court Sir John Tuggle Court, where Carrie Tuggle is buried. And Carrie Tuggle, the history of Carrie Tuggle was, she started the first juvenile for state of Alabama. Also, people don't know that Carrie Tuggle's daddy was an Indian chief that was called Colored Folks. And that's another thing. But John Tuggle came out of Ohio. Well, we want to honor John Tuggle and bring the emphasis to Old Sauter's Baptist Church, what they did up there in Inner Ridge. We thank you and appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
And come out and see us Saturday.
Thank you.
12 o'clock. It's about a 3-hour event. And the Pythian is sponsoring it. We have a dinner at Old Sauter's. It's free to the public. Seats is limited. So first come, first serve.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next speaker.
Cordell Banks. Cordell Banks. Kamal Africa.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
How you doing? 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll try to keep it there. When I spoke here on the 30th, I talked about 3 issues. One was the parental responsibility ordinance, and I want you all to know, and I want to thank you, Mr. O'Quinn. That law is already on the books. We need it enforced. It is Title 6, Section 6-5-380, Parental Responsibility Ordinance, and basically it calls for fines up to $1,000. And what I've asked for, and I think Emory Anthony in 1991 starting, was to put some teeth into it. Some of these kids want attention. The parents aren't giving them enough old love, like Councilwoman Smitherman's parents gave her, and some of you others, Mr. Woods. I won't call all y'all out, but I know your parents were excellent parents. And so we need to give them some attention. Put the parents in pink jumpsuits and make them clean up the parks on the times when they would be drinking and partying and playing cards, and make them clean these parks up on the weekend and make them pay these fines for the things that they do, like when I talked about our civil rights trail on Dynamite Hill, where they're kicking down the signs. They may as well have kicked Fred Shuttlesworth or Dr. King in the face, because those signs represent 3 years of hard work that our committee put forth under the Bell and Kincaid administration to get accomplished what you see downtown, that people come here and spend thousands of dollars for, millions when you calculate the hotel stay, for civil rights. That's what they come here for. And the buses that come up on Dynamite Hill, and I got pictures that we couldn't show last time, but eventually we're going to get that done. I appreciate what you all have already done in the past in terms of helping. And when I said I'm talking about the city, and some of you that have been up here before, because it was your funding that paid for that trail. And so I need you all to tell me or help me on how we can get that in place in terms of a law that's already on the state law, already on the book, and I just gave you the code, law department. Put some teeth in it in this city. The next thing, corporate has a responsibility, especially since we have so much corporate welfare going on in this city. And our city needs role models. That's important for these children that need attention. You've got the Alabama Striders, Youth Jazz Ensemble, the Foot Soldiers Museum. These folks' fundings have been cut down significantly. But if corporate can get $90 million for a stadium, and we did need a stadium, we needed one with a dome on it, and one that was a bigger capacity than 45,000 seats, then I think that we should give more or talk to corporate about having a balance. If we can give to them and they're making millions and billions of dollars, they should be able to give to some of these organizations. We got historical sites like the T.C. Wyndham and the Tuxedo Junction where Benny Goodman, Miles Davis, B.B. King, they all came to Tuskegee. And they need help. They got money, and some of them built their foundations on slavery. That's why I asked you for an SDO. All progressive cities have an SDO, a slavery disclosure ordinance. So I need some of you all to talk to me to tell me how I can help you all to understand and bring it to where we can get it into the law and be supported. Thank you very much, and listen to our new radio station 24 hours. It's jazz, reggae, soul, R&B, and hip-hop. 95.1 FM Sankofa. That's SankofaYDP.com. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, next speaker.
First name is Sable. 3029 Suite F, Vestavia.
Okay. All right. That's all of our speakers. Real quick, before we go have the council members to speak. On item 19, and Mr. Clark, I guess we just might need to call it back up.
You still have 6 on it.
I understand. I still want to deal with 19 right now. There's more than, I know we need to make each event, part of -3-1-7. So, because there's one event February 8th, which is the soccer event, and then we also have an event with the basketball event with Alabama A&M and Alabama State are playing this Saturday at Bill Harris Arena.
Reconsider.
Second.
Well, you actually have to reconsider the entire consent agenda. And
all right, let's
pull that
reconsider
the
consent agenda. Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right.
So you want to readopt
Yeah,
the absent item?
readopt the consent agenda -19.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So motion on 19, bring it
All
back
right,
before you.
motion to reconsider.
Well, just put it back before you.
Okay.
Just a motion on
Move item 19.
There you go. It's before you now.
Okay, all I wanted to do is just simply amend it that it's per event that will take place between January 15th and February 10th.
Okay. 1 second.
What is per event?
Meaning that the basketball game you can spend up to the 3-1-7, and then the soccer event that wasn't included in the each event will fall under up to the $10,000 per event.
So the dollar amount on item 19 needs to change from 10,000 to 20,000?
No, it's just 10,000. It's just per event. So we're going to have multiple events going on. So each event is going to be up to 10,000.
Okay, but we don't need to change the dollar amount in item 19?
We're just amending the resolution.
Okay, so what's the amendment language?
Is that each event, it's per event.
10,000 per event.
Yeah, 10,000, up to 10,000 per event.
Second. You need a second.
you ready.
I have the amendment for you. So you're basically saying after $10,000 per event, go back and to pay for goods and services, so on.
Right, okay.
Voting should be open for them as amended. President Parker, Councilmember Abbott.
Aye.
All right, that vote should be up for the item as amended.
Good, thanks. That item passes. We have item 6.
Move the item.
I'm gonna take it from the table.
Yeah.
Mr. President.
Back before you. Well, I'm sorry. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. The item is back before you.
Like I said, I did want to go ahead. I think it's important to go ahead and resolve this today and move on. I think that I would like to move to approve this item with the amended language up to 5 murals. And what that does, like I said, it allows the.
Listen, I want you to do whatever you need to do.
Let's move to carry this over for a week.
Because this is not right, but y'all do whatever
Council
you want
Hort,
to do.
Council Hort.
Well, my understanding was there was a.
Your own drum major.
My understanding was there was a consensus out there with the Business Alliance, and
Did you read the letter from the Business Alliance president? It's on your what's name? He copied everybody on that.
Right. Right, but I'm saying this gives them the ability to some flexibility in what they do. But if you're not amenable, we could.
Yeah, I thought. Well, here's where we are. I thought we were going to if you'll allow me a couple of days to try to work through this. If you'll give that to me, so I'm going to ask for a 1-week delay. Allow me an opportunity to talk to Council Hoyt, also communicate and talk to the mayor and his team, and I think we can, because what we want to do is make sure this is unanimous and everybody's on board. And if that can't happen on Tuesday, then
I can support that. I thought
you support that?
Yeah, I think I misunderstood something. I know. But
I
thought that scenario would have resolved.
If you all could give me a week, so I'm going to ask for.
It's been second.
Okay, can we go ahead and just for next week then?
There's a 772 publication requirement, so you need at least 2 weeks.
Okay. All right, if y'all give us 2 weeks, and I will report back in between those 2 weeks. Okay?
Mr. President, and could you convene a meeting with those folks? We got a list of people that were there that night, so that you can talk to them and get input.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
nothing should be this political or hard. But I want to make this point very clear. You all agreed to a bold funding process. I am comfortable with as many delays as this body wants because it's your prerogative. But if it's going to be this hard, and more importantly, if it's going to be this political, we will gladly give the funding to another bold applicant.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What we're going to do is allow us a couple of days, which means it'll come back in 2 weeks. And at that point, like I said, I will report back to everyone before the 2 weeks. And can't reach, get everybody on board consensus, then we'll do an up or down vote in 2 weeks. Council Hoyt, we're good with that?
Yes.
We're good with the terms? All right.
President, I'm fine. I just
Okay.
want to put people first.
Okay, all right, Mr. Hoyt, come on, Councilor Hoyt, Councilor Hoyt, Councilor Hoyt. And that one, that was,
It's all over the place.
okay, all right. Okay, we had a motion for a 2-week delay.
It's already.
Okay, it's all right, okay, let's vote on it. No, man, we're in the middle of a vote. We're in the middle of a vote.
Councilmember Abbott, President Park.
Yes.
Aye.
That vote should be.
All right, that item passes. All right, Council Hoyt, announcements.
Oh, you're so kind. Bless you, Mr. President. The Bellevue Heights Neighborhood Association meets tonight at Charles A. Brown Elementary School at 6:30. The Inslee Neighborhood Association meets at Alpine Recreation Center at 6 o'clock. I think there is a bridge opening on Friday, or some iteration of that. And so just want to let the public know, I think at 2 o'clock it's supposed to take place. I think we all got invitations to that. Did y'all?
We're not aware of that, but if you have some information we don't have, we'd love if you could share it with all of us, and especially the chair and also probably the mayor.
But I was
If you-
understanding we were gonna get something in the mail.
Okay, well, we'll ask Dr. Quinn to follow up on that and communicate with all of us. But, yeah, we'll ask Dr. Quinn to do that, if you can, and share what you find out.
Well, may I just go ahead and comment?
Okay, well, if you're aware of something.
So, yes, something has been scheduled for 2 o'clock on Friday. Supposedly, it's a private event. The location has not yet been determined. So that's the extent of what I know.
Okay. Well, you know more than I know, so. Yes, that's it. I just hope, Mr. President, in the spirit of cooperation, that we don't get on the bandwagon, that we get so divided and so this. I just hope that we take each councilor's input when we consider these things. And all I want you to do is just, give me a fair hearing. That's all. I'm not trying to change your mind. That ain't my job to change your mind. My job is to get you to help me to grow my district. And I think, having represented that district for a number of years, I kind of know how it goes. And notwithstanding anything you do in your district, whatever you think is going to benefit your district, then I want to support that too. And I don't think neither one of y'all can say that I voted against anything that was going on in your district. Because who best can dictate what is needed than boots on the ground? Y'all the boots on the ground over there in your prospective district. Well, why not respect what I'm saying? But if you do this, that's fine. And then I know how to treat everybody else. And that's not a threat. That's just saying, listen, we have to be together. And what I've seen here today, and maybe because we got new folk here and you don't understand the processes, but, it hadn't gone that way. I would never vote against your district. That's something that I think is going to be a benefit. And if I thought all of it was a benefit, I would have a problem with it.
Okay.
But please respect me as a council and representative for that district. I'm there every day. I live in the district. I represent the district. I'm in and out of businesses. I patronize the businesses over there. We don't need anything that's going to be a detriment. And the folks don't think that that is a good idea for that money.
Okay.
And the other thing, Mr. President, if you look at the breakdown on this, why we paying Reb, I think they're paying him, $4,000. And don't we give them money already? So, we said we got a thing here, you can't double dip.
Okay.
So why are they double dipping on us? Okay, now that needs to be dealt with. But I didn't want to bring all this stuff out.
Okay.
But there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with this. But y'all go ahead on, because you're not trying to find the truth.
Okay. Council Hoyt, but
Okay, go ahead. Y'all go on. I'm done. Paul Harvey, good day. You don't know about Paul Harvey, you're too young.
I'm very familiar with Paul Harvey, and the rest of the story is, anyway, the rest of the story is, Councilor Hoyt, it was a 2-week delay. In between these next 2 weeks, we're gonna work to make sure we get everyone and build a consensus and everybody's on the same page.
Okay, very good. I
That's my
respect that.
commitment to you, sir, on this item.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All righty? We're good, Councilor Hoyt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Councilor Smitherman?
Thank you, President Parker. For neighborhood meetings today, we will have South Titusville meet at Titusville Library at 5:30 p.m. Arlington West End will meet at West End Library today at 6 p.m. This Saturday, January 18th, North Titusville will meet at Titusville Library at 11 a.m. As far as announcements, in observance of January being Human Trafficking Awareness Month, my office, in partnership with Junior League of Birmingham and Girls Incorporated, we will present Freedom, Justice, and Mercy for All, a conversation with Centoya Brown Long. This event will be next Wednesday, January 22nd, starting at 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. This event is free and seating is limited. My hope is that her story will not only inspire others, but also shine a light on the injustice that people still face on a daily basis, especially the injustice to women and children in American prisons. Also, if you know of any young girls or young women who would like to personally meet Centoya Brown, and I extend the same thing to my colleagues, Girls Inc. is having an event the night before. Please call my office at 205-254-2358 or call me at 205-478-4650. Just a little information about Centoya Brown Long. She is an author, speaker, and advocate for criminal justice reform and victims of trafficking. Is dealing with, even from the time she was born, her alcoholic teenage mother was also a victim. Centoya's journey twisted through unimaginable horrors of sex trafficking that involved murder and self-defense while she was a teenager, in prison before writing itself with a prison education principle, leading her to see spiritual hope above such negative circumstances. Encouraged with a mentor believing in her, Centoya continued in her complicated journey that resulted in a documentary about her life. She is currently found love, and she is married, and eventually she was granted a pardon by the Tennessee governor. She received national and international support even from celebrities like Kim Kardashian and Rihanna, and from social media advocates, pastors, and was released from prison in Nashville, Tennessee on August 7, 2019, and she was in prison for over a decade. So I think her story is very, very inspiring, and so if anyone would like to come to this event or anything like that, I would like to encourage other people. Also, I would like to announce that as far as my neighborhoods next month, we will have human trafficking awareness sessions where we will teach people about how to look out for the signs of human trafficking. And lastly, I have requests for the mayor. I know he's not here, but residents last night at a neighborhood meeting asked that the median on Denison Avenue Southwest be cut and trimmed and that litter be picked up. There's also a big hole as you turn up Mims Street Southwest as you're turning off Jefferson Avenue Southwest. The residents also said they haven't seen a street sweeper on the 1200 block of 16th Street Southwest in 3 months. There's a flooded area on 18th Street Southwest as you are turning off Jefferson Avenue Southwest, and there's also illegal dumping in the 18th Street Southwest alley. Thank you, President Parker.
Thank you, Councilor Smitherman. Before we go to Councilor Abbott, we're going to send out we will have a committee of the whole meeting this month. We will send out a proposed agenda. I think it's going to be a lengthy meeting. We'll send out a draft so we can see that we've captured all of the different topics that needed to be discussed that we talked about in December because of the holidays that we punted over to January. So I would ask you all to be on the lookout for that draft agenda, make sure we didn't miss anything, but also just encourage everyone that we're going to have to spend some time. So, and we'll make sure sometimes that everyone can be a part of it, but I think it's important that we get the year off right. One of the issues on there will be the request to get an update, street sweepers with public works in general. And I think that was questions that have Ms. Abbott, Council Abbott, and also that's been the conversation up here. So I will let you know we will be having that item at the committee of the whole meeting. So we can have an in-depth discussion and a report from the mayor and the mayor's office. So I just wanted to put it out there that we hear you, and also from the World Games as well. So anyway, I didn't mean to get into your comments, but I just wanted to kind of let you know we hear you, I hear you, and I'll let you know, just stay tuned to your email. We'll send that out.
So we don't have a date yet?
Well, because it's going to probably last 3 hours. There's about 10 items on there that have been discussed, from street sweepers, World Games, Civic Center, updates that, we need to get an update on the capital projects from those funding categories. I think it probably will take that. We might have to split them up and have 2 meetings, but I wanted to make sure the topics that you all have communicated to me, that we're requesting information and having discussions about them. So if you look at it and say, okay, hey, we need to meet twice, fine with that. I just wanted to
We need to meet twice.
Well, that's fine, but I just wanted to make sure that it's not going to be on, also making sure that our swimming pool's open on time, so we want to get ahead of that. So we just want to talk about a lot of stuff. So if we choose to go.
Definitely need to do that.
Council, yeah. So I'm just trying to make sure that if we need 2 meetings, we'll do that. But I just wanted to make sure we put it all out there, and then we can figure it out. So I just wanted to let you know, hear you, and we're just trying to address everything. So you should probably get that probably later today or by tomorrow, and we can get feedback from there. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt your comments. I know
That's okay. I hadn't started yet.
I know, but you've got the World Games is coming, so I just wanted to kind of get ahead of that. So go ahead, Council Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, the World Games are coming to Birmingham in 2021, and we still have to be ready. But I do have more confidence now that we're going to be, with Nick Sellers in charge, and I know he'll talk to us. So that's good. So everybody needs to be ready. And we're going to need volunteers. We're going to need a lot of volunteers. And I've had people in my neighborhood already asking about volunteering. So that's good, because they're going to need thousands of them. And what volunteer means is you don't get paid, but you probably get a T-shirt. That's my estimation of what volunteering means. You spend your time, but it's for a good cause. So the Kiwanis State of the City luncheon was excellent. I was happy to see that all the council members were there. That's the best attendance we've had at a State of the City meeting like ever. And the message was good. The mayor did a good job. The Youth Leadership Forum's Government Day is always interesting. Several of us were there, and young people's perspectives, the older I get, the younger they seem, and their perspectives are like just entirely different from mine. I'm just amazed. It's kind of like talking to my grandkids. So, but it was good, because they're the leaders of tomorrow, and we better be able to talk to them. I did want to make a comment about Greg Silas. His father passed, and we just need to keep him in our prayers. Greg Silas is one of our shining stars in Birmingham. I'm very sympathetic with his loss. The next Budget and Finance meeting will be held on Monday, January 27th at 3:30 p.m. in conference rooms D and E. The agenda submissions are due on January 22nd, 2019 by noon. So hopefully that will all work out for everyone. The neighborhood meetings in District 3 for tonight have been canceled. Normally, East Avondale and Highland Park meet tonight, but they are not meeting. So that is all of my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Abbott. Dr. O'Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Today, the East Avondale Neighborhood Association will meet at 6 p.m. at New Bethel Baptist Church. On Wednesday, January 15th, the Graymont Neighborhood Association will meet at the Smithfield Library at 6 p.m. On Thursday, January 16th, the Southside Neighborhood Association meets at the Southtown Court Community Center at 6 p.m. Just a note on the Transportation Committee, that would that's usually scheduled for the third Monday of each month. However, due to the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, we are canceling that and having a special call meeting on Wednesday, January 22nd at 2 p.m. in council chambers. One of the items that will be discussed will hopefully have another draft of the proposed micro-mobility ordinance. That's an ordinance that's being put together relative to dockless bikes and scooters. So we hope to be able to actually have somewhat of a public hearing on that issue at that meeting. As Councilor Hoyt mentioned earlier, the I-59-20 or 2059, whichever way you like to call it, the bridge is expected to be reopening no later than next Tuesday. I know we're all thankful for that. Getting out of City Hall and onto Reverend Abraham Woods Boulevard has been particularly challenging for the past year. But I know that there's a lot of folks who've had to dramatically alter their commute in order to get around that. So hopefully by Tuesday, they will have a more direct path to their destination. Please remember to participate in the 2020 census when the time comes. That's supposed to be completed by April. If you have any questions, please call 1-800-923-8282 or visit 2020census.gov. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. O'Quinn. Mr. Woods.
Thank you. A couple announcements. Kilo Springs Neighborhood Association will meet tonight at 6 p.m. at Smith Middle School. Also, we had to reschedule the District 1 quarterly meeting to Saturday, February 1st due to the inclement weather on this past Saturday. And I want to make that note. Also, like I said, if you are still going strong with your fitness goals, we want to make sure you're aware and invited to the Fitness First workout program going on, a free fitness class every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 a.m., Calvary Resurrection Christian Church. And that concludes my announcement. Also, if there is a ribbon cutting for the interstate, definitely want to get that, Councilor O'Quinn and Councilor Hoyt. We just want to express my tremendous respect and appreciation for everything in District 8, and definitely going to be trying to figure out how you get all that development over there. We're going to be trying to get something done in District 1. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. Mr. Hilliard.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. The Birmingham City School will have a board meeting tonight at 5:30 p.m. at the Birmingham School Board, so we all need to look into that. The Tuxedo Heights Neighborhood Association will meet tonight at the Pratt City Library at 5 o'clock. The Sandusky neighborhood will meet tonight at Jimmy Hudson Recreation Center at 6 o'clock p.m. We want to send out condolence to Catherine Evans, who's the president of SIPCO Family. She lost her daughter, Yvonne King, and we're very sad to hear that. And I just would like to take a moment of silence just for a second and in recognition of Mrs. King. Thank you, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hilliard. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to thank Ralph Williams and his team at Alabama Power. After the weather this past weekend, specifically in Roebuck Springs, there was an extended power outage. Him and his team were great at communicating, and I really appreciate that. And I also want to echo some of Councilor Abbott's sentiments about Mr. Silas. Greg Silas, I think, is one of the best city employees we have. Despite his father passing away yesterday, he took the time out of his day to call me to update me about an issue in regards to the Emergency Communications Center. So the fact that he would take time on the same day that his father passed to give me a call to update me about something work-related, I think really speaks to him. So I'd actually like to offer a resolution of sympathy for Mr. Salas's family.
Second.
So moved. All in favor, let it be known.
Aye.
Next.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, thank you.
And also, Roebuck, thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Mr. Salas, and we are sorry for your loss, and thank you for your dedication to your job. Also, Roebuck Springs will be meeting this upcoming Thursday at South Roebuck Baptist Church at 7 o'clock, and that is all I have.
Thank you. These are announcements for District 7. We have several meetings this week in our neighborhoods. The Raleigh-Trevalick neighborhood will meet at the Southwest Community Center this evening at 6 p.m. The industrial neighborhood meeting will be held Thursday, January 16th at the Lawson State Community College at the A.G. Gaston Building. That's at 1 o'clock. And the Germania Park neighborhood meeting will be held Thursday at 6 p.m. at the South Park Baptist Church. And the Hillman neighborhood meeting will be held Thursday, 6 p.m. at the Mary Doris Center. I do want to continue to extend the invitation to the clergy members in District 7. We will be having our first quarterly Coffee with the Clergy meeting for 2020. This will be held Friday, January 17th from 8 till 11 at the Lawson State Student Success Center. And if you'd like to attend, if you're a clergy member in the district, please contact my office. We'll be happy to have you present. And those conclude my announcements for the day. I did want to take this opportunity to thank our officers who are on duty today. I have 3 listed, but I don't see but 2. But we have Jeanette Prince from South Precinct, and we have Cedric Pinkert from City Hall, and we have a 3rd one, Ashley Knighton from South Precinct. All right. Thank you all. We appreciate your service, and we definitely appreciate the protection that you give not only to us but to our citizens. Thank you very much. Any other items?
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.